First, I want to wish everybody 新年快乐, happy Ramadan to everybody who's celebrating. Many of us find it hard to picture what the world will look like in the years to come. There is the geopolitics, a world that feels less stable, less predictable, and less governed by rules that we can rely on. And then there is AI, which in some ways feels even more unsettling because it is not happening out there in some distant theater. It is happening all around us. In the classrooms that our children will enter, in the industries that Singapore has spent decades building. My husband and I wanted to protect our 2 children from online content. They're still very young. So we decided to try and stop giving them screen time sometime last year. I told them that Prime Minister Lawrence Wong said screen time is bad. They looked a little bit confused, and it was tough for us for 2 weeks, but since then, they hardly ask for screens anymore. But I know that this artificial safety will not last. They will grow older, they will become curious, they will have friends or classmates who will tell them about the fun and exciting AI content online. They may learn about the companion AI tools. They will need to differentiate between content generated by humans versus AI. And they may ask, what is the point of striving to learn and becoming good at something if AI can do it so much faster? All of this can feel very frightening, whether we have kids or not. My speech today has no new announcements. My fellow colleagues may share some of them during the COS debates. But there's no new list of programs that you will hear from me. Instead, I wanted to try to address 3 hard questions. What is really changing? What will not change? And what must we do together? So first, what is really changing? Let me not sugarcoat this. AI is here. AI is not arriving. AI is not 5 years away, but it's already reshaping industries, changing how some tasks are being done, and it is moving faster than most forecasts predicted even 3 years ago. What AI does best today, and will get better at doing tomorrow, is work that is repetitive, rule-based, or data-heavy. Processing, summarizing, triaging, these are not special tasks. Machines can now do these tasks faster, at lower cost, and often with greater consistency than humans. And this performance gap will continue to widen, not narrow. So when young Singaporeans tell me that they worry that what they are learning today in school will be obsolete by the time they graduate, I do not brush that aside. They are reading the situation clearly. Many are already encountering this as they start to apply for jobs. And when workers in their 40s and 50s tell me they have spent 20 years building expertise in a domain, but now worry that AI is helping junior colleagues close that gap much faster, I do not tell them that their concern is misplaced, because all of their anxieties are rational. But what matters more is what we do with it. I asked AI to give me an analogy of itself. It suggested the following with very nice elaborations for each suggestion. Bicycle, electricity, calculator, turbo engine, all of these sound very useful. Then I asked it, give me the scary analogies. AI suggested fire, Pandora's box, Trojan horse, puppet master, among others. Now, the range of answers in itself is telling, because that is exactly the question we have not yet settled as a society. What is AI to us? What is our relationship with AI? And who gets to decide? We know that AI can give us significant economic edge and amplifies the abilities of our people. But we have to carefully define our relationship with AI as individuals and as a society. And we can only do so if we first get to know AI. We need to first understand what it is capable of. We must understand the motivations of the people behind it. We must understand the risks and the invisible dangers that it can come with, and understand how vulnerable you can be to it, even if you think you are the most educated person in the room. Singapore's job, and this includes my job, is to make sure that we as humans remain in control of how AI is used and not let it dictate our values. Now, what will not change? A world where everything is changing feels unsettling, but there are some things that will not change. What will not change is the value of genuine relationships, relationships that build trust and deep human connection. In my dialogues with young Singaporeans, many can see clearly how AI makes their lives more convenient. But when I ask them, well, what do you do with the time freed up? They pause. Some will murmur, sleep. Some say League of Legends. And a few say they will spend more time with their families. But the pause is telling. Convenience is not the same as connection. The things that make a life feel worth living, being known and loved by a real human, building something and celebrating achievements with other people, showing up for people when it's hard, AI cannot replicate these. And the more automated our world becomes, the more these human connections and capacities will define what differentiates us from the machines. What will also not change is the need for human accountability. And accountability means developing AI governance frameworks that are robust and ethical. It means being more transparent with citizens about how AI is being used in government services and allowing them to still connect with human public service officers if they need to. Accountability also means recognizing the risks and dangers of AI, developing regulatory frameworks on what AI content should be disallowed for certain audiences, and making sure there's a clear chain of accountability. AI can process, but it cannot be held responsible on its own. AI can generate lots of options, but it cannot own the consequences. We will still need humans for ethics, for creativity and imagination, and for the ability to look someone else in the eye and say, I take responsibility for this. So, what do? We are not starting from scratch. Our education system has consistently produced people who can learn and relearn, not just people who know things. We have a population that takes education seriously, that invests in their children. Our people are discerning and curious about the latest technologies available. More than 500,000 Singaporeans used their Skills Future credits last year. Mid-career workers are reskilling, not just because they are asked to do so, but because the system makes it practical and financially accessible. We will build on this and guide Singaporeans towards the capabilities and qualities that AI cannot replicate. And tripartism. In Singapore, we have a labour union that is aware of the impact of AI on workers and already putting together plans to make sure that we are ready for the workforce disruptions. So we are starting from a good position. But we need more people to learn about AI and learn how to use AI and not just observe to see which way things settle. Moving, building, and doing does not mean rushing or speeding. It means getting started and moving at a pace most suitable for ourselves. And whether you're an employer, a worker, a student, a teacher, or a parent, the mission is to turn your anxiety into action, and over time, into confidence and mastery. For our businesses, especially our SMEs who form the backbone of our economy, you do not need to have all the answers before you begin. We heard in our Economic Strategy Review Committee consultations that many SMEs feel that they cannot afford to be guinea pigs. They tell me, Jasmin, you want us to be early adopters, but we don't want to be the first movers. They have many personal experiences of trying out new technologies and then realizing that the technologies became outdated too fast. And they are right to be cautious. We will create lower risk, structured ways for our SMEs to experiment. The hackathons and collaborations between students, SMEs, and business leaders over the past year were not just photo opportunities. In those sessions, our SMEs got access to low-cost AI prototyping. The students gained domain experience and learned about real problems that businesses deal with on a daily basis. Business leaders spotted talent they then went on to hire. We will systematize this to ensure that more SMEs and students benefit. We are also refining our funding schemes. When IT adoption was the main challenge, the barrier was setup cost, so we subsidized setup cost. Today, an early-stage AI prototype can be built in just a few hours. So the barrier now is capability and workflow redesign. Our funding support will shift accordingly towards implementation, business process redesign, reskilling, and the much harder work of changing how an organization actually operates. We will make sure we are accountable, but we must also make sure that our SMEs, most of whom are genuine and often already tight on resources, we must make sure they do not get turned away too early by onerous and cumbersome paperwork. Now, these are all ideas that our ESR Committee tool on technology and innovation will continue to work on in the months ahead. I would like to take this chance to thank my co-chair, SPS Goh Han Yen, and all our committee members for their time and thoughtful contributions. And we are encouraged that PM had mentioned many of our recommendations in his budget speech. For our young people, economic resilience begins long before workforce entry. It begins in how children and students learn to think. As a parent, I'm often tempted to help my children find the answers instantly when they begin to struggle. Sometimes we see this as our way of protecting and teaching our children. But when answers become instant, the more deliberate we must be in protecting the struggle. Because it is in the struggle of making mistakes, trying again, and finally breaking through that real learning happens and confidence grows. We want more young Singaporeans to learn about AI, not just learn how to use it, but learn about it. Not just to do their homework in routine and repetitive ways, but to create new value for themselves and others. And to actively decide when not to use AI. A student asked me recently whether I use AI. I said yes, often, especially for research, summarizing articles, or preparing speeches. But recently, I tried to build my first web app. It is called Family Fun Time, and it's designed to give me one activity a night to do with my kids. The activity must be dinosaur-themed, take less than 15 minutes, and should not require any equipment. Over time, based on my rating for every activity, it will give me customized suggestions. Yesterday's activity was about dinosaurs' feelings and letting the kids suggest what to do when their favorite dinosaurs are hungry, scared, lonely, happy, or angry. Unfortunately, I only get to try it with them tonight. because I had to work on this speech last night. The real fun and the real learning does not come from the app or from AI. It comes from the minutes we share as a family, the conversations and laughter, and correcting each other's silly responses to our dinosaurs' feelings. I did not know it was now so easy to build an app until I had tried it myself. Only in doing, trying, and experimenting will we find out the value of AI and shape our own relationship with it. And only in doing, trying, and experimenting will we find out the real value of ourselves as humans and understand what AI cannot and should not replace. In the years ahead, as AI continues to evolve, we will need to review what education means for our children. AI will force us to sharpen the focus of education on what truly matters: judgment, values, and the ability to work with AI rather than to compete with it. How do we teach our children about AI, in particular its limits, biases, and blind spots? How do we balance the weightage of our education to emphasize character and social development? Beyond content recall, what higher order thinking do we want to equip our children with? How do we help them understand the value of problem definition and design? How do we help them sharpen their judgment skills, especially in uncertain situations? These are all areas that we will be working on so that our children grow up confident that they remain the master of AI and not the other way around. In closing, let me be direct about what I believe. AI is here, and its possibilities are endless. This matters because it means AI can improve the lives of our people. But this journey, no doubt, will cause much disruption. Because we feel the fears, because we feel the anxieties, we must find a way forward that keeps our people together. Most importantly, we must always be in control of AI, not the other way around. We must intentionally decide what AI should be used for, even if it nudges us to think otherwise. This is how we can build not just a smarter economy, but a wiser and a more confident society, ready for the journey ahead.